Blake, I think Connor's hurt.
Here, roll my shirt up and hold it against him. It's all right, Connor. You're going to be okay. Just hang on.
I'm right here.
Hey, are you all right?
Yes, thanks to you.
Why didn't you let me keep him, Elizabeth?
The voice wasn't Wynn's voice, but it was coming from her mouth. Huddling in the corner, Wynn drew her knees up, curled herself into a ball, and began to rock, very slowly, watching them, like a stranger, through dull, lifeless eyes.
You thought you loved Dennis, didn't you, Wynn? Why didn't you tell us how you felt?
You hated him. You would have fixed it so we couldn't be together.
He didn't love you, Wynn. He loved Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. She didn't want him. She was through with him. I was the one who loved him best.
You followed them that night, didn't you?
I had to. He was going to get her to come back to him. I had him all to myself for a while. I had someone who loved me.
Wynn, he was using you to keep Elizabeth,
He
that's all.
loved me. He would have stayed with me.
What did you do that night, Wynn? How did you get Elizabeth alone in her room?
I just went in. Just walked in. They didn't even hear me. They were laughing and talking, and I could hear the bed, and they didn't even know I was there. And then I made a noise, like a prowler, and I went to the cellar, and Dennis came down, just like I knew he would.
And you hit him, didn't you?
I had to. I had to do that. I took a knife from the kitchen. I went up the secret stairs to her closet. She was still on the bed, just waiting for him, smiling. I didn't have a choice. Really, I had to. She didn't even fight me, not really. She was just so surprised.
What did you do with Dennis?
I went back to tell him the news that we were finally free, but he wouldn't answer me. He wasn't moving. He wouldn't talk. It was Elizabeth's fault Dennis got hurt. If she'd stayed away from him, he never would have... Greg, is that you?
Yes, Wynn, it's me.
I was just telling them about Dennis. I was going to tell them how I put his car there on the bridge. I was just going to.
Yes, sweetheart.
Did I tell you about my dream?
Yes, you told me.
About the long, dark...
The crawl space. The secret passage. Blake, that's what she meant. She must have killed Dennis and then brought him here to the mausoleum.
It was Greg who figured it out. When we couldn't find you upstairs, we put the fire out and broke down the door. Then we saw the tunnel, and Greg remembered the stories about the secret passageways leading to the cemetery.
Oh, Greg!
Lucky I had my trusty axe, huh? The police and the ambulance are on their way. I called them before.
Oh, Connor.
Are they going to take me away, Greg?
Yes, to some place where you'll be safe.
But I don't think I can go. See, Dennis wouldn't want me to leave
You'll
him.
get better there, Wynn.
No, you won't let them take me, will you, Greg? Oh,
Martha, look out! No, Wynn! Back again!
With a shriek, Wynn threw herself on Martha, slamming her head down hard against the stone floor, bringing the knife up against her throat. Martha felt a crack of stone against her skull. She began to lose consciousness. Faraway voices blurred. The shadows swarmed with lights and shouts and figures. Then, Martha was in Blake's arms, and past his shoulder, she could see Wynn struggling, Wynn being held and dragged away by 3 policemen. Wynn's face, a demon's face, glaring back in poisonous fury.
Elizabeth! Why did you come back, Elizabeth? He's mine! You can't have him! You can't get away from me! I've been in the house all along, Elizabeth, watching and listening. I killed you, Elizabeth. You can't take Dennis away from me!
Is that him? He's been knifed.
Has he lost a lot of blood?
Yeah.
You all right?
Blake, what's happening? Where are they taking Connor?
Shh, it's all right. We called the ambulance. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful with him, please.
Yeah, just take it easy, miss. Is he a friend of yours?
My brother.
Name?
Connor Wheeler.
Okay. We'll take care of him. You can come and see him later. Come on. All right. Here we go.
He's going to be okay. They told me so, I promise.
Oh, Blake. Connor knew.
Knew what?
When we first found the cemetery, he knew. He felt some kind of danger here. Can we go to the hospital now?
Sure we can. I almost lost you tonight, Martha. And it was a terrible feeling. Does Connor know how lucky he is?
Lucky?
Yeah. To have you as a sister.
Martha thought of Connor, so still and pale as he was taken away. How annoyed he'd be when he woke up to find himself in the hospital. She saw herself beside his bed, and Blake there with her. And she smiled when she thought how that look would creep across Connor's face, and she wouldn't even mind. Martha looked into Blake's warm brown eyes and kissed him again.
I'm the lucky one.
she said. And she meant it.
That was Trick or Treat by Richie Tankersley Cusick, adapted for audiocassette by Garrick Hagan. Martha was played by Tony Barry, Connor by Adam Henderson, and Wynne by Laurel Lefkoe. Blake was played by Michael McGee, Sally by Shelley Thompson, and Greg by Michael Fitzpatrick. Garrick Hagan played Mr. Stevenson, and Elena de Gogol was the voice of the child. The narrator was Jeff Harding. Trick or Treat was directed by Garrick Hagan. The production was recorded by John Mayfield, who also composed the music. Post-production was by Paul Deely. This has been a Story Circle production for Scholastic Limited. You may like to know that other titles in the series of Point Horror tapes include Halloween Night, Funhouse, The Cemetery, The Witness, Dream Date, and The Accident.